Hi, we're from Miss Smith's 7th Hour Speech Class 2020, and today we're going to be talking about the difference in everybody's family lives. I'm Sari.
I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Chantal.
I'm Madison.
Whenever you're a kid, you have this image in your head that your family's gonna be so happy, but it doesn't always work out that way for all families. Like Sari, she lives a wonderful life with her two parents and her siblings. Go ahead and tell us about that, Sari.
Many studies have found how hard it is on younger kids when their parents divorce, so a lot of couples decide to just stay together and create the image of a perfect family. Many families stay together for their kids because it is the right thing to do, or it'll be better for the kids. In history, this has a lot more common because everyone wanted to create the image that they were that perfect family. Many unhappy couples choose to remain married and delay divorce because they are staying together for their children. They believe it is best for the children to be raised in a family that is seen as happy rather than being a child of a divorced family. While it may be true that children thrive in complete happy families, staying together for the kids can actually sometimes hurt the kids, but that's not always the case. For example, my family has stayed together my whole life and have created the image of that perfect family that everybody wants. While being that perfect family might not be the exact reality of it, because like my parents still fight and things, but we're still like they stayed together and I still live with my family and my brothers and my
Just
during
because your parents are together, it's not like you're not always unhappy. I mean, every parent has their rough bumps, right?
exactly. Like nobody's perfect. Like no family is gonna be that perfect picture family. And while some parents are really good at hiding it so that their kids can't even see that they're unhappy, others are so preoccupied with their marital issues that they neglect to create that happy family image, and it can actually tear a family apart. Aaliyah, why don't you tell us about your family situation?
Speaking of tearing a family apart, like Sari was saying, families that are together do have issues. It's just usually they don't tell the kids about them because, they're kids. They don't need to know the parents' problems. But in my situation, that those problems and all the fighting got too much, and it led to my parents splitting up. And there's a lot of effects on the kids whenever parents break up. Like they experience loss not only because like their parents are separated and now they lose like their home and their whole way of life, but it's just everything becomes unfamiliar. They meet new families. Like if your dad finds a new girlfriend or your mom finds a new boyfriend, you meet their significant other's family, and maybe that leads to step family. And the child may be feeling all kinds of mixed emotions like anger. I don't know. They might not like the new dynamics, living situations. School might become hard because they're thinking about like everything that's going on in their life. It just might have a lot of like impact on the child because they're going through so much.
I know
And
for me with my dad, I feel that way.
yeah, exactly. Like whenever it happened with my parents, like I don't know. I feel like you become sad because like you miss how things used to be, but like in the moment I kind of like liked at first my first year I liked having like two birthday parties, two Christmases, two of everything. You think it's going to be so fun, but like as I got older I realized it's not fun because there's a lot of fighting and a lot of communication that goes through me. Like they weren't communicating themselves, like they're making me communicate for them, like through them, I guess you could say. And it was just really hard, and I think that's like another thing that like a kid could experience, and that can make them angry or like have anxiety, or it can make them feel overwhelmed, and that's really not good on the child. Like Chantal, could you tell us how you were feeling when you went through a situation like this?
My situation is somewhat similar but different from yours. I really never got to experience my mom and dad together, but knowing my dad cheated on my mom and knowing the effects of that, which I experienced some of these effects, and these effects where you feel angry, you get anxiety, you feel guilt, you feel like it's your fault, so much
It's
shame,
like
like
you
you're
have so much emotions going through like your mind and everything. It just makes everything in your life hard, right?
yeah, and it's not just one thing you experience, like you can experience all these things and even more. Like you experience shame, like you don't feel like you feel embarrassed, like knowing that your parent or whatever parent did that to your other parent, like it hurts. You feel sadness, and most of all you feel confusion, like you wonder why like your parents could be happy, like with the Leah, like her parents were happy one minute and then like they just decided it wasn't the best for them anymore. And I know with my dad, like my stepmom has always been in my life, but sometimes I feel like I get pushed to the side more than what my stepsisters do. Well, my sisters. I feel like they're sometimes more important than what I am, and that feeling sucks. But then again, knowing like I have my mom and my mom means everything to me, like my dad does too. But like knowing that they're both here for me and they will always be here for me, like it makes everything better. And knowing like I get these extra siblings and that's perfectly fine. Like I love them to death, but sometimes it just sucks, like you get overwhelmed and like you're put in the middle. And I know for me, I've been going through this for 16 years, and recently, probably 2 years ago, I kind of stopped going back and forth with my dad, and that was one thing I hated the most, is packing all your stuff up from one house to go to another house, spending like 2 days there, because that's what I did with my dad, and then come back and unpack everything again. It sucks knowing like you have to keep going back and forth just because of a consequence that one of your parents did. Maddie, is your situation kind of similar to ours?
My situation is kind of similar because my real dad was never a part of my life. As soon as I was born, my stepdad, he signed my birth certificate. Um, I consider him as a real dad. He's always been there for me. He treats me a lot better than my real dad does. Every time my real dad wanted something to do with me, it was just for money, just wanted to use some type of way. Um, my stepdad, he's he's honestly my best friend. We're like we're just really close, and honestly, I couldn't ask for someone better than him.
I know what my stepmom, I can say like I've been more than thankful for her. Like she's raised me right. She's sometimes my mom and them hated when I would call her my mom and stuff, but like she is a mom to me and I will never not consider her one. Like she took care of me and like raised me right. And I know the way Maddie's like saying like it's a different kind of love when you have someone do that for you when they don't have to. Like Aaliyah, you have Deborah. Like, do you feel that way? And you have Diego. Like, you feel that way with them?
Yeah, like I know like even though they're not my real parents, they're there for me. Like they treat me like if I am their own. So I guess I could relate to.
See,
I mean,
that's how you guys can relate to like my situation.
like we all feel happy even at the end of the day if our parents like aren't together. Like,
I feel like the situation could be hard, but I guess it's kind of cool to have more than two parents.
oh, it's not that you get double everything. But sometimes there is those difficulties, like knowing like I know growing up, I've always said I want to experience what my mom and dad would be like together. But then again, I'm kind of happy that I didn't have to experience it because I wouldn't want to have to go through something like that. And I know Aaliyah went through that and I know it hurt her. Like I you can tell like when a person talks, you know it hurts them, and that's something I wouldn't want to go through. Like I don't know, it just sucks having that or even knowing that, like especially when you're at the age to understand. Like if you're little, like that's perfect, but like when you're at the age where you understand, it's just like your whole world is crushing in on you and you don't know what to do. Wow, thank you for listening to our speech about how we each have separate, well, not separate, different kind of lifestyles. We've all been through something different. And even at the end, if it makes it seem like we're not happy, we all are happy, like with who we got, with having 2 families, siblings, whatever it is, we're all happy. My name's Chantal.
I'm Sari.
I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Madison.
And thank you for listening.